You want to know something that's really fun to do just on a casual Sunday evening? Go out there and win a defamation lawsuit, because why not? A little over 2 years ago now, Anthony Fantano made a video about this one guy because he genuinely sucked. Throughout the video, he just spoke about why the guy was such a douchebag, made different allegations about him, but overall just stated stuff which was already very evident on the internet. Not at any point throughout the video did he go out there and make some blasphemous claim. However, the geek himself that goes by the name of Ronnie Radke decided that he was going to file a defamation lawsuit against Anthony Fantano. Now, through this lawsuit, he was trying to pursue damages because Anthony Fantano had ruined his career. This one video, it struck me down like the Lord himself. So now fast forward to 2025 and the lawsuit has finally been solved, and obviously Anthony Fantano came out with a dub because it's obvious he was going to do so. Like, you don't even need to bother wasting your time going back watching clips or watching the video to know that he wasn't rambling on about a bunch of baloney. Most of the stuff that he spoke about in the original video, the guy had already spoken about himself. However, if I'm being entirely honest, this lawsuit was doomed from the start because Ronnie, the guy that was suing him, somehow managed to file a lawsuit against the wrong Anthony Fantano. He started off by sending this bad boy through the mailbox of somebody by the name of Anthony P. Fantano instead of Anthony N. Fantano. And I can only imagine the face of doom that person would have had as soon as they opened that letter, thinking, oh god forbid, what's going to happen right now? Just to see that some absolute geek on the internet had gone out there filing a defamation lawsuit for a video that the guy had never even made. And obviously eventually updated it and, you know, took back their mistake. However, when they sent the real Anthony Fantano the letter of defamation saying, hey dude, yeah, we're suing you, they were too lazy to go out there and just change that one singular letter on their letter. And I mean, from this point onwards, the lawsuit just got worse and worse. I think if you're gonna go out there and spend a bunch of clams trying to claim damages and defamation, you should at least have a good kind of lawsuit built up. But by the looks of it, this guy and his team of lawyers, they just kind of stormed into the building like the Kool-Aid man and just said, yeah, Anthony Fantano, you did this, even though we don't really have any evidence of it. Like, at one point during the case, the judge literally went out of his way and said, hey buddy, look, like, everything that's been stated in this video, you've stated yourself. Like, you actively go out there, claim that you're a controversial person, you have beef with everyone, you're not a great guy, and that's kind of like the marketing that you've built up around yourself. So obviously people are gonna go out there and make videos on you being a bad guy if you genuinely suck, which you do. And it gets even worse because they carried on kind of like deep diving into the old box of toys, and by the looks of it, the judge managed to pull a toy out of that box which Ronnie didn't quite recognize. Maybe it was pink and large with 2 balls on the bottom, because he actually found a tweet where Ronnie actively commits defamation against Anthony. There's a tweet from a couple years ago where Ronnie goes out there and says that Anthony's views are paid for bots from India. And although that probably isn't enough to build up a defamation lawsuit, it's still defamatory. It's not even remotely close to the truth. But that just kind of opened up all sorts of problems for Ronnie at this point. You know, it's kind of like opening up your cupboard and seeing Narnia in there. You're like, oh, whoopity woo, I guess I'm in a movie now. Apart from, unfortunately for Ronnie, he's not in a movie, and if he is, it's just about how much he sucks. And so as the case developed, you know, the judge kind of started to reason, just saying like, look, Anthony, if anything, he's just showing like public concern right here. His video, he doesn't talk about anything blasphemous. He just kind of says like, hey dude, you know, I feel kind of bad for this guy because he genuinely sucks. And not at any point does he put anything at the bandwagon or fake any sort of evidence. He just shows stuff that's on the internet and just gives a list of reasons as to why the guy is so bad with evidence provided. And now, if you were kind of involved in all of that action a couple years ago, you might be able to think back to how Ronnie actually responded to this whole situation. And I'll tell you right now, I think he must have forgotten about this when filing his lawsuit, because this one clip alone just had the whole thing fall to crumbles.
All of you done has helped me, because all of your fans will come to my comments and just rack up my algorithms, and maybe I'll catch a couple incel fans from your fans.
Yeah, so that video right there is Ronnie going out there saying, yeah, you know what, Anthony, you may have made a hatred video about me, but actually it helps me. And it just goes entirely against Ronnie's original point, because when he actually filed the lawsuit, you know what he tried to say? He tried to say that, oh, I'm just a small bean and Anthony Fantano's bullying me on the internet and he's destroying my tiny small career. Please help me, Mr. Judge. And somehow he managed to build a lawsuit off of that. But then when you take one singular look at that one clip, it just falls to smithereens, man. And so since the big update on the lawsuit and Anthony winning, Ronnie has now gone out there saying that the lawsuit was a big strategy for him, and the whole time he knew he was going to lose. That's why he spent thousands of dollars on it, because he knew in the long term that Anthony was going to make another video on him and it was just going to be even more promotion and marketing. Like, dude, with all due respect, there's no way your brain is that small, man. Like, you literally spent thousands of dollars on a lawsuit so you could get like 2 YouTube videos out of it. But yeah, I just had to talk about this lawsuit lawsuit. It is so unbelievably goofy. I really do love a horrible lawsuit, and this one right here, it was really pinging off all of the alarms in my head. It was a defamation lawsuit which hardly ever goes to plan for the person actively trying to sue, and everything else in this lawsuit seemed to have just gone horribly wrong for him. I mean, from the start, as soon as Anthony opened that letter, he must have just started chuckling because he knew that he'd already won. And it's not even like Anthony had to pay any of the legal fees. Obviously at the time, as they progressed through the court case, yes, he had to pay, but fortunately enough, Ronnie lost. So he lost not just his own money, but he had to pay Anthony back as well. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.